Very shortly after this war commenced, Israel decided, oh, wait, we're going to take this opportunity not to achieve the goals that they convinced President Trump to tell our nation about, but instead to do something we've wanted to do for a long time, which is steal southern Lebanon. And so very shortly after this war began, Israel started a new war with American weapons paid for by American taxpayers designed to take land from Lebanon, all the land south of the Litani River, which kind of bisects the country diagonally, and then starts hitting Beirut on the Mediterranean, an ancient and beautiful city, maybe the most beautiful city in the world. And Israeli warplanes started blowing up civilians in the middle of Beirut, while the United States was occupied, tied down, really, both fighting this war that Israel inspired. We followed Israel's lead into the war, according to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and tied up defending mainland Israel from the response to that war from Iran. And Israel takes this opportunity to use our money to start a new war to steal land. So this agreement addresses that in the very first paragraph. So while a lot of people in America didn't even notice what was happening, Iran focused on it. And so in order to get everything else that follows in this agreement, the United States will have to restrain Israel, pull back from Lebanon, stop killing civilians in Lebanon, and give back the land that you stole while the rest of us were paying attention to the Iran war. Wow, that's the first paragraph. And apparently the U.S. is going to sign this. Paragraph 2. The United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity and to refrain from interfering in one another's affairs, internal affairs. Why is this significant? Well, because the United States is addressing the Islamic Republic of Iran not as a rogue terror state, the Third Reich reconstituted in the Middle East, but as a normal country. In fact, as a powerful sovereign country whose internal affairs will be, as a matter of record and agreement, treaty, unmolested. Because you don't interfere in the internal affairs in powerful countries. And so basically this is acknowledging paragraph 2, before we even get to the Strait of Hormuz and the nuclear program and all the rest, this document is acknowledging that Iran is not a rogue terror state. Iran is a sovereign nation, in fact, a great power, because it's negotiating with the world's greatest power, the United States. And the United States is acknowledging that, hey, you have a right to run your country as you like. And so that means almost 50 years of watching reports on television about how Iran is an out-of-control theocracy that murders gays for being gay and prevents women from getting educated or whatever they've been telling you. We're okay with that now because you're a great power. And if you want to throw gays off buildings, it's not really our business. Well, that's quite a change, whatever you think of it. Paragraph 4. Immediately upon signing this MoU, the United States of America will begin the removal of its naval blockade and any disturbances or impediments against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and will fully end the naval blockade within 30 days. Retreat. Pull your troops out. Get your warships out of this area. Stop hassling us. That's not a victory. That's a surrender. That's a retreat. It's pullback. Just a fact, whether you like it or not. And to be clear, this is better than the alternative, not complaining about it, just noting that, wow, this is not unconditional surrender by Iran. Hardly. Paragraph 5. Upon signing this memorandum of understanding, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. In other words, they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz and not charge anybody anything for a month. And at that point, we'll talk. But Iran's going to talk not to the United States, but to the Sultanate of Oman, which would be the country directly across the strait to the south, the oldest monarchy in the world. Iran and Oman will determine the terms on which shipping flows through the strait, because after all, they're the two countries on either side, the north and south sides of the strait. So it would be up to them. You know who it's not up to? The United States, which has effectively controlled the Persian Gulf for your entire life. But not anymore. Now it's up to Iran and Oman and their allies or regional partners. The other 5 GCC countries, maybe Iraq At the Western end, who knows? But not the United States. And by the way, not China or Russia either, but the two countries whose territory touches the Strait of Hormuz, they're in charge now. And by in charge, that means in charge of, in effect, the Persian Gulf. Because the overwhelming majority of the commodities, mostly oil and gas, but not just oil and gas, fertilizer, sulfur, the rest that you've heard so much about for the last 100 days, flow through that strait. And so Iran is now at least an equal partner with Oman in determining how much it's going to cost the rest of the world to get their commodities out of the Persian Gulf. How much oil-producing, gas-producing nations will pay to get their commodities out of the Persian Gulf. Iran. That was not true on February 27th. Apparently, it's going to be true into the future. So that power, the power to determine who gets their commodities out of the most energy-dense region on the planet, by definition, makes you into a major player, if not a regional hegemon. You're certainly a big deal. People can't dismiss you as a rogue terror state at that point because you control, in effect, a fifth of the world's oil and gas. Okay, now. And it goes on.